And welcome back to Wrocław. We're getting deeper and deeper into this tournament. Of course, that's the way they work. But we're into the brackets, quarterfinals in the mixed division. Coming up, DISConnection taking on Manchots. DISConnection, Freiburg, Germany, taking on Manchots from Le Mans, France. I'm Stefan Rapazzo here with Rachel Douglas to take this one in and bring it back to you on your screens at home. Rachel, where's your excitement levels going into this one?
Pretty high, pretty high. Yeah, we've had such an exciting time both yesterday and today across the divisions. It is a tight tournament. We've had only a few blowout games. I'm not sure if anyone tuned into the game previously streamed on this field. That was one of the few. This tournament is incredibly tight. All of the pool games, it's been everything to play for, and I'm really excited to see how these teams bring it out today. DISConnection coming in really strong. They've won all of their games so far and managed to have a bye this morning by doing so. So they're coming in fresh. They haven't played a game yet today. But of course, that means their legs might be fresher, but they haven't had that time to kind of get tuned in the same way that Manchots have. They've had some tight games. Manchots, they've lost to Lemmings, to GRUT in the pool stages, but beat Glasgow, which is what got them that pre-quarter game this morning, where they managed to see Monkey Grenoble out of the top 8 and secure their spot in this quarterfinal. They won that game 13-10. So they have had a tight one, meaning they're probably, well drilled, well oiled, but maybe a little bit more tired.
Yeah, I mean, the loss to Lemmings was the one that surprised me. And then after how well Manchots did against GRUT, they hung in there for a very long time in that GRUT game. Only, I think it was 10-10 before GRUT could pull away a double. As you said, DISConnection, they get the benefit of the rest, but how much of a benefit is it? Well rested or well tested? Sometimes getting the extra test and the extra reps do bode well, especially the deeper you go in these elimination games in these tournaments. So I've been very impressed, I must say, with Manchots, what they've done for them this morning. A bit of revenge from the French National Championship. The Monkey from Grenoble took that national championship, took the top spot, but Manchots winning when it counts most in the Continental Challenge, and a big win for this very young team from Le Mans. They have a roster where I'm starting to recognize more and more of these players, and they're all like, I think, I mean, their average age has got to be somewhere around 24 there. It is a very young team, and their veterans even are young little whippersnappers, Rachel.
Yeah, they've got a very sort of spread out stat sheets. There are a few people kind of leading the charge, including Laila Petitbon, who's managed to rack up 16 stats so far. But otherwise, it seems like everyone's sort of getting themselves on the board in some way, indicating this is probably going to be a kind of everyone, all hands on deck situation.
Well, all hands are on deck, and it is DISConnection coming out with the disc. First throw goes around. Now a big under comes from Oliver Young. Wind up, sent deep, and the defense comes through at the last minute. A huge D there. Here's another look at the D. And just in the nick of time, the run-through defense by Marine Benoist. And a big opportunity early in this game for Manchots to break against the undefeated DISConnection. Who just getting that one around. That is Barentin with the big throw and the headband. She's been doing it for a long time for French national teams, women's division, mixed division. That one over the top of everybody into the hands of Chessier. Back to Chessier and a scuba to Barentin. Barentin leading pass on the doorstep here. Ménard goes backwards. Barentin quarterbacking this D-line attack. Lacoste Lefebvre. Now into the 66 shirt, Dolo. Inside, Lefebvre. And shovel pass in again. Nigo. Nigo goes backwards. Lefebvre. Lacoste Lefebvre floats one. That one caught a little bit of a wind elevator shaft there, but hung on to. And now to the sideline, bouncing it to Nigo. Nigo back to Lacoste Lefebvre. Of course, one of the key components to the French under-20 team that won European gold not long ago. And Padova finds Barentin, still not in. She looks for the expansive throw, faking the big flick, and then back to Lacoste. Lacoste moves to the near sideline. There's the D-getter, Benoit. And shuffles it back inside to Chestier. A lot of movement. The French, Ménard, the DISConnection defense bending, but still not giving them the in yet. Hammer. Now a bit of space for Barentin. Not in yet. Barentin gets it back from Benoit. Fakes the hammer. Dishy inside. A lot of work here. Lacoste Lefebvre back to Barentin. This is a D-line O showing this kind of patience. Lacoste Lefebvre winds up Now spinning around every which way, just into the hands there. Chestier, and they get the break on the first asking. Impressive stuff by the French there. Very patient counterattack.
Such patience working that all the way up, and DISConnection choosing to stay in that zone all the way to the end zone line. I was kind of waiting. I knew at some point an overhead shot would come in. They were doing, Manchots doing a great job of kind of crashing in, pulling the defense in, and at some point we see there that scuba going over the top to that backside of the end zone. It's a little bit gusty, it's a little bit windier than it has been in previous games, but of course we've mentioned Manchots have played already today. They've already kind of dialed into the atmosphere and the conditions as they currently stand. Perhaps that's something that gives them that little bit of edge over DISConnection, particularly in these early points. But Manchots getting that defense, putting a huge effort in to get there, and then just showing phenomenal patience as they work that up against quite like a sort of a disruptive zone. It felt like there was a lot of pressure around the handlers, but not too concerned. And number 62, Bariton, putting in an absolute shift to make sure they get all the way up the field and take their time to work it into the end zone.
Taking their time, DISConnection will have to tidy up their attack this time, knowing what Manchots are capable of if they get a D. They move it upfield, bounced off the sideline, and a travel called as it got to Miriam Foster. And it will come back, in fact, into the hands of Henning Nova. Prost putting up the 0, indicating where the stall count will come in. And we look just about ready here. Nova goes up line, wants Young. There's a bit of traffic, but the throw was spot on. Young rose above and brings it down with 2 hands. They hold on the second asking.
It worked out for them, but that didn't feel like the most opportune option. That was a very, very tight window that had to go over the heads of a number of players, and there were black shirts streaking in from all sides of the field. But we see here not finding that reset, not seeing any good options downfield. Manchots obviously putting in a lot of work to shut down that downfield movement, and that really had to be quite a tight up the line pass. The throw was good, it sat out to space. It's a good reception under pressure, but yeah, that sort of feels like they're having to really try and force it into the end zone. Manchots obviously putting some pressure on, giving very few options downfield. And no reset outside the end zone, denying the reset. Didn't manage to generate the turnover in that instance, but if that's the pressure that Manchots are going to bring to bear on these offensive points for DISConnection, then I think we're going to have a great game on our hands.
Yeah, most certainly. I'd love to see Manchots and the underdog, so to speak, going up early. It just makes it interesting with a break in their back pocket. That one too high, bailed out. Pick up there, going to ground. Nice grab by Leproux. And back to Leproux, and this time Marco Muller gets a hand on it. Foul called. Marco Muller bashfully puts his hands behind his back, saying, no way I could have fouled. Let's see how they work this one out. Here's another look. I think he did the best he could, but I still think the left hand was on her back. Yeah, we may get another look at that.
Difficult to say. The positioning seemed good, but when they've got 2 people jumping into the air, even the smallest amount of contact can make the difference.
Yeah, it's the left arm he used to separate a little bit. I think it's a just valid enough foul call. It was not on the catching hand, but it did push into the body, maybe put Leproux off balance just a little bit. So contested foul. I think that's a fair enough resolution.
Yeah, hard to say when you've experienced contact, but the other player thinks it was either incidental or not significant. you'll see those foul calls sometimes contested. It's the fairest way to resolve.
And Bonnetat goes inside. Lepreux. Right back to Lepreux, and low caught there by Dolo. Dolo finds the corner. Not quite in yet, and that one will go Régie Bonnetat, but we got a pick from Good State Bonnetat, and it'll go back into his hands. The goal will not count yet.
Yeah, you've got to be so careful when you're clearing your cutout, because that undercut was definitely on, but now the disc goes back.
Bonnetat throws the same thing to the same target and the same result as the one that would have been, and that makes it 2-1 Manchots. A shout out to all you at home watching. Thanks for joining us. Love having you here with us. I'm sure Catherine Petitbon is with us. She reached out personally to say, what does it take to make your selections? How do you choose who's on? I would love to see Manchots on, and okay, let's see. I'm not doing you any favors, but there are many things that are part of the criteria, but surely she's happy now to be able to see her daughter play. And Manchots looking good coming out of the gates. A break and a hold on their first and just that last point, and a slight lead, slight edge early in this one, Rachel.
Yeah, we know Manchots have had a real grinder of a tournament so far. This is the second day, their second game. Looking at the rosters, they do have maybe 2 fewer players than DISConnection, so they've come out firing, they've come out absolutely gunning for this game, but the question is, are they going to be able to maintain that level of intensity as we move forward?
That is what we're all glued to our screens for to find out. Young fires deep, but that's too much on it. Manchots are going to get another chance, and Young is going to have to recalibrate the deeps. One of their veterans on this team is responsible for a lot of their field opening throws, but that one, not the first, the second that's now got away in this game.
It was a really aggressive look, and Katja Weigel didn't seem to be making that cut. She was coming under and sort of had to try and reposition, turn around. Came in very fast. There was not much chance of that one coming off.
Johan van der Woude, the Dutchman, puts the disc into play, and the French with another chance to break. Van der Woude again. Ooh, that one very low, but picked up, and now sent back to center. Chistier and Van der Woude versus Young, and Young does just enough. And a foul called by Van der Woude. Young as a wonder, and now walks back to the conversation after thinking about it. Here's another look.
That is another tight call.
Tight to say, bodies were close together. This time, I like to think it wasn't that much contact that caused the drop, but it is a foul contest. Quickly resolved that, I like. He got a hand on him just before he went up, but once he was in the air, not sure how much contact I did see. There was contact, grazing for sure. But they've worked it out. That's the good part. Berthoudot. The
quick stoppage as the disc from the other field sails onto this one.
Perrine Berthoudot with the disc, the very large framed young lady. Another part of the French under-19 team or under-20 team that won gold. And she was a huge part of that, contributing here for Manchots. Berthoudot gets another touch, and the defense came in front, but couldn't get a piece. Now, Gavillet, and into the hands of Guillon. Berthoudot. Berthoudot floats high. Second effort. There's the bailout. They're getting the bounces right now, aren't they? Gavillet sends deep, and the bounces stop bouncing their way for once. Turk winds up the big shot. Doesn't go. Plays in the backfield. Now into the hands of Norver. Norver gets to Hambrecht. Norver again to Young. Young sends deep. He's calibrated now. That one lands in the hands of Annika Hambrecht, and it is 2 apiece. Another hold for DISConnection.
It's a shame for Mancho there, working it up nicely, finding those resets, maybe just looking to get a little bit trigger happy in their final third, trying to push that one through. That was immediately blocked. It was quite an aggressive shot over or through a lot of traffic, it turns out, because that goes straight into the hands of the defender. And as we said, DISConnection just making those calibrations now, making those adjustments. That throw was really nicely weighted out in front. They had that deep separation, and they're rewarded. Hambrecht gets rewarded with a score.
So we get a nice little start to this game here. 2 apiece, advantage Manchots with the break, advantage DISConnection with an undefeated start to this tournament. And early, of course, in the game, 4 points in, but I like the pace and feel that we're getting in this one already. That's going to be brought to the brick mark by Régie Bonitat, or Regis Bonitat. Good state as it translates. Deep shot by Bonitat. Forget, you can just forget about it. Forget's got 2 hands on it, but he was not in, so don't forget about anything quite yet. You've still got to remember how to convert. Next throw, and the conversion gets away from them, too low for Bonitat.
Just a bit rushed. That thrower was not set. That throw came out all wrong.
First throw in, Vissa. And first break chance for DISConnection. Ooh, needed a bit of heroics to keep it alive from Bauer. And he goes down holding the back of the neck, injury indicated.
And that was an awkward reception, to say the least. Had to sort of go down, but then lands on his full on his trunk on the side. It's not the best place. You can kind of jar yourself a little bit. So great to see, just taking that second. And Manchots take the opportunity to replace one of their players as well.
Yeah, Riyad comes in for Bonitat, hangs up a huck, and well handled there. Erdmann comes back to the disc and collects that one. Now Voitko back again, and Förster to Voitko. Now to Turk. Turk looking upfield. Takes the inside twice and goes to Marieke Förster. You have to distinguish. There are 2 Försters on this team. Turk. And a stall out called. I think it's being contested and now retracted.
Stall out called, and then you just see the shake of the head from Forster. No, I don't think so. And on second thoughts, that call is retracted.
So it will remain in the hands of Turk. And we're tapped back into play. Turk. Backhand break, pick call, double bicep, flexing all over the field. Back in the hands of Turk. Again. Turk. Backhand around has Erdmann. Erdmann tries to get around the mark of Petitbon. And now it's Kirklow. Erdmann to Turk. Turk floats one in. That's a goal. That's a break. Verena Volleson. And it's back on serve with a big break by DISConnection.
Those deep sweeping backhand breaks are coming out in force from DISConnection. Those fakes as they're coming are really going to have to be taken seriously. We see here they do work it nicely up the open side and just work it in very calmly. But prior to that, there was several really, really beautiful backhand breaks, really exploiting that side of the field, getting really far around their mark. Something Manchots are going to need to think about on how they're setting up for their force, how they're going to try and contain and stop DISConnection from exploiting all sides of the field.
Yep, they're going to have to come up with some answers. They came out firing hot and have just been cooled down by DISConnection, finding a little bit of their efficiency that has taken them through this season, and certainly this tournament thus far, going undefeated, and they've just had a strong season, winning spring invite, getting the early ticket here, the early qualification, going deep into, they were in the final at elite invite, just failed after a beautiful comeback from winning that one, giving it up to Reading that time. But a very impressive run this season, and they will have expectations to be at least in the semifinal. But this a big test for them, as Manchots have been just getting better and better every game so far.
Yeah, Manchots and hungry. You know, they've had the 2 for 2 in their games. They've had 2 wins, 2 losses. Wanting to come down with a win at this high stakes end of the tournament.
Riyad bails out and takes the high pass that went over the intended receiver, but then his throw, not enough on it, and it tails away and rolls to the ground.
Early on, the determination, very decisive, hustling to get down there, but it's just too far. About a meter and a half deeper than it needed to be.
And Manchots with a second effort here. Big shot goes, Olivier on the chase. She is not afraid to throw her body. She does there, but it went down too quick. The wind played with that disc a little bit as well, making it a difficult read.
Yeah, that was a shot more or less directly into the wind. Came out beautifully, but that just, again, tiny margins, not a connection.
Volleson sees Gross going deep, likes the mismatch, keeps it in bounds, and Gross still has to make a play, but that is another break, and DISConnection are on a run right now. It's 4-2.
I thought that was so far out the field, that was uncatchable, and yet proven immediately wrong, getting absolutely into the skies to catch that one and securing the score. They have called a timeout on field. We will take a quick timeout here in the booth. Don't go anywhere, we'll be back.
There are so many reasons to outfit your team in Force beyond just looking the part of a champion. Force offers professional design services with their dedicated graphics team. All apparel is produced in France. Force works with a local labour team and their raw materials are sourced in Europe. Force insists on transparency with no hidden fees and international express shipping. Look the part and play the part with Force Sportswear.
Back in. Timeout taken by Manchots after they started things off with a break, but now have conceded 2 in a row. 4-2 the score. A lot of time left. but DISConnection have taken back the advantage they expected to have.
Yeah, but this game feels very evenly matched. Manchots going up at the start, DISConnection getting back in there. Every single point, I think we haven't had a clean hold yet, have we? Or trying to cast my mind back, all 6 points.
There have been a couple clean holds.
Clean holds, okay. But I mean, it's felt contested, you know, each time it feels like they're under pressure. And the defense is always just there. Ooh.
Rouillard makes a catch behind, but then puts it too far in front for Forger. And another turnover into the hands of DISConnection. And a discussion here. Not sure what it's actually about. But ooh. Over the head, but into the hands with eventuality. Erdman does get it. Kirklow puts it up, but Rouillard makes amends for the mistake he made that gave it away and gets it back for Manchots. Forger to the disc. Forger winds up the backhand around, and at least it comes in, but that's about all he's going to get from that one. It was way too far in front for Rouillard. And I think that's exactly the chat they're having. At least it did come in. I thought it landed inside in boundaries as well. And his teammate telling him the same thing. It will come in on the cone. The only benefit of that throw. Ooh! Enzo Forger, he does say forget about it this time. Then Rouillard goes high, but there's a pick. Don't celebrate anything yet. It's gonna come back. Pick called. Rouillard will get the disc back, but that layout D, it still stands. Enzo Forger doing the dirty work there. Rouillard throws the same slop, and Van de Woude cleans it up. A beautiful layout D by Enzo Forger. Not the tidiest conversion after that, but they make it count, Rachel.
Yeah, Manchots doing a good job of getting those turns back, but the kind of the offensive flow that you really want to see that we saw in that first point, even from their D-line, just hasn't really been there since. You know, managing to get it back, but if they're gonna have to kind of put up high discs to their tall players to secure these scores, I feel like that's only going to work for so long. They really need to find their way back into that kind of flowing offense. And at the moment, it just feels a little bit rushed, a little bit frantic. I think they need to dial it back a bit and try and get into the headset they were in those first couple points, where they really felt kind of much more like they were setting the tone for the game, and it's just taken a little dip since then.
You're absolutely, the way they started that defensive conversion, I'm just going to reiterate essentially what you said there, but yes, I was given this great belief that if they're going to play like this is going to be a long day for DISConnection. They're still getting the Ds, they're generating, but they have not found that D-converting efficiency that they had at the start as Turk and DISConnection get things going now to Shield. She fakes, and Förster busts up the line, and Turk comes around with a swiping hand on it. Förster, that's Marion, who gets the disc. Back in the middle. And it was Miriam. Förster now to Shields. Miriam Förster, and it goes through the hands, and Manchots will get another chance to break.
That turnover is a gift. That offense was looking really lovely, really flowing, and a drop is going to hand it over to Manchots, but can they find these connections? Can they flow? Can they get it downfield?
Well, let's find out. Gavillet picks it up. Wide and around. Now Dolo. He sends it wide. Berthoudot is there. Two defenders. Backup help is coming, and Turk knocks it away, but
there's a call earlier on the field, a travel call half the field had stopped playing, so this was an issue to resolve now. A turnover happened, but if there was a stoppage on the field, the disc is going to have to go back.
How long ago was it? Gavillet was in the end zone last time she had it, or just outside the end zone. And it was a travel called on Gavillet that stopped everybody and negates the would-be turnover that Dolo ended up throwing.
I think there's a little discussion here now on did it impact the downfield play? But it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one to resolve. If half the field have stopped moving.
It is Young very much pointing his finger to Dolo and saying, did you stop? Did the person you threw to stop? And maybe yes, but if two of your options or three of your options did stop, regardless of whether that affected your throw, it affected the fact that you had one less option to look at. So there is some legitimacy in the call. Moser, the man from Rimini, Basel, walking by. He's doing it still on the sidelines here. Inside throw, just through the defense. That one connected with. But we've got another pick call.
There's a lot of movement downfield, which means I think we're just going to keep seeing these picks until things get tidied up a bit. Everyone is moving. See a fist in the air now trying to indicate they should get into the stack. Tidy things up.
Chestier working it around. Now inside to Gavillet. Lacoste. Ooh, and a hand on it, and that was enough to disrupt the flight path, and now disconnection. Young picks up. Turk shakes and bakes, and he's right on that corner. Turk goes around. That one shows a bit too much of the backside, but bailed out. And the next throw too far. Yeser couldn't get it to stick. So probably the least tidy point we've seen thus far in the game. The wind is, I don't know, is this consistent? Has it picked up a tiny bit, or has it been like this all game long? Maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, I think we're getting a little bit more gusty. It's kind of, we have a consistent wind here for sure, but it's gusting that little bit more now. Oh, and that's just not weighted, that's rushed.
Yeah, Chestier puts it to the ground now quickly, back the other way. Shields, beautiful lefty around forehand. She gives a fist pump, and that one into Annika Hambrecht for a big goal for disconnection. A dirty, dirty hold.
Yeah, nothing clean about it from either side. Just still seeing Manchot. It feels like they're sort of on the cusp of bringing it together, but rushing those options, not setting themselves. It looked like they're the sort of having it in that far corner, trying to get the kind of the fake out to the dump and then pivot upfield to hit what was a beautiful upline cut developing. But if you're just not able to kind of have that physical control in that moment to set yourself, then the throw's going to come out and it's all for nothing, because that went straight to the ground. Manchot really just needing to find that extra level of kind of clinical offense. At the moment, they're getting those turns, they're forcing errors with disconnection, but each time it's just proving to not work out for them.
Yeah, now a bit of separation, 2 breaks to 1 here in the first half. Of course, Manchot will get the disc to start the second half, but they're going to still need a break to be back on serve here. Yeah.
Travel called. Again, with the sort of indication of exactly what the travel looked like. I think he's arguing there was a change of direction within the slowdown, which is a travel. It does give a slight advantage to the thrower. So insistent on that one coming back, but they get it right back out.
Riyad goes to Forger. Now Forger goes to Leproux, who needs to make a play. Petitbon in her own brick mark. Bonita goes deep. Forger, the target. He's there. And a nice hold by Manchots. Bring it back to within one. 4-5 the score.
Leproux keeping that offense alive, just 19 years old, but has already been playing for 8 years. Going to ground on that swing that was put out just that bit too wide, and then facilitating the continued possession for the score. That seemed nicer from Manchots. Like, they were using the space, they were kind of making sure they were setting up cuts, making space for their teammates, and really kind of, you could see each of those plays progressing. It was really a kind of a bit of a change from what we've seen from them since that first point, and very much a necessary change. If they can keep that approach to their offense, they'll be in this game. And as you say, clawing back on the score line, making sure they stay within striking distance. It's going to be so important not to let DISConnection extend this lead any further.
Yeah, not extending. They don't need to get these breaks back now. They've got a long time, but they do need to ensure their O-line can hold with ease. Right now, they did that. They put their D-line back in the field. Here's where the opportunity exists, but they're going to get these opportunities if that O-line can continue to punch in. Turk wound up the backhand, did not deliver. High release, Young chases under. Quick to shield, Lefebvre had a sniff, and then that one knocked away, and there's a chat about it. That one by Chistier, he got a touch on it, but Young wants to reevaluate.
I do think from this angle, I think I could see hand on hand, which secured that defense. I think they're just having a bit of a chat about it, but it did look like it might have been the initiation of hands rather than a clean D. It's an uncontested foul, so that will stay with DISConnection. We're just checking out whether there's a little bit of curve in that disc, or it's good to go.
Young, tapped back in by Chistier. Young fakes the back now around with the forehand. Shields, the American, up high to Feste. Miriam Feste centers to Turk, wide, still not in, but very near by Nova. Nova goes back, it's Young again. Young centers, Turk there. Turk looks to the open side, finds on the break side, but Feste still not in. Going backwards once again, Turk. Turk using the break side for more, gets Turk back towards the middle. Turk pops one out in front, Shields there. That time, stretch it back to a 2-point lead, 6-4, up for DISConnection.
DISConnection offense looking really nice. They're just working it through whichever option makes sense. Whoever's got space, whoever's got separation, playing through that full line. I'm not sure if everyone got their hands on the disc, but certainly just passing it. If someone is open and they get it, and if it's a reset, that's no problem. Waiting for the right option to come through. We saw they almost had it in. I think that was jumped in, but maybe with the two-footed landing, a foot just stayed fractionally on the line. But not a problem for DISConnection when they're just going to keep their level head, pass it back, hit those resets, and ultimately just wait until the option comes up rather than trying to manufacture something. It's very calm, and it kind of is just a level of a togetherness that maybe it's taken them a moment to bring into this game. They were slightly slower to start, maybe slightly less of those sort of calm connections and trust, but now we're really seeing it flow, and that's going to be something that Manchots are going to have to work hard if they want to keep getting turns as DISConnection offense finds their flow.
Here come Manchots, and that one a little bit too hot and goes right through the hands of Dolo. Muller picks up. This could be treacherous. Gross to Muller. Back to Gross. Gross finds Marco Muller. Now to Marika Förster. High, and Mula puts the foot down. Emphatic spike out of him. That's a break. Make it 7-4. DISConnection really stretching this lead now.
Yeah, we're seeing the team that have come in with the clean sheet. This is the team that haven't managed to let themselves drop a game yet. They are not ready to give up. They want to be making it into the final stages of this tournament. They want to be competing at the highest level. You can see the pass into the end zone there. Müller absolutely amped up, through the leg spike. Somehow both aggressive and somewhat gentle on the disc, which we appreciate.
Doing it all is Margot Müller. The contrast of balance. What about the rest of this division right now? The quarters anyways, we've got Deep Space and New Lock. Tight one, 7-6, Deep Space up. GRUT, a whole bunch ahead of Smog right now, 7-4. And Reading sticking in top two, up 8-4 in that other quarter. Here come Manchots, Le Preux. Ooh, underneath to Ruyard, but Gross all over him. Forget goes deep, but it's Olivier who opens up some space. Olivier just into Forget, and there is a pick called. Philip Steffen making the call on Enzo Forget earlier in the cut. So that'll go back into the hands of Chloé Olivier. Chloé Olivier to Le Preux. Ruyard looks upfield, delivers the next. Chestier, high stall count, finds Olivier. She's quick to look upfield. Back to Chestier. Olivier wanted it again, but in the dump space to Le Preux. Now a cleaner under comes from Courdezuy. Ruyard opens up, Forget is there. Takes the final step into it, a casual little spike. They don't want to get too excited. They've still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, but they're keeping their head just about above water, not letting the lead slip away too far. So important to keep hold as much as possible. Stem the flow of this DISConnection and just try and stay in the game as they figure out what they need to do to turn the tides and get back into a position of dominance.
There's Enzo Forget on screen now, the goal scorer. And Manchots put their D-line back out. Berenton with the pull, beautiful pull, picked up by Turk and led ahead to Myriam Forster. Young winds up, deep shot, looks good. And just like that, they hit Katja Weigel, and DISConnection are gonna take half, 8-5 on a scintillating throw out of Young's hand.
Yeah, beautiful strike deep from Weigel. Very decisive, not a problem. Knew that was going to come in. Well read, well positioned.
the score. There's Young in the windup.
Weigel setting up a great cut, had both lateral and deep yards, acres of space. So hard that often as you come down, you run down the pool, you're trying to get the defense on, but an early deep strike can just be so punishing. DISConnection putting in an emphatic point to take half.
And halftime is taken, 8-5 the score. We're going to take a break too, and we will be back for second half action.
We are Hive Ultimate, a group of players and coaches from all over the world working together to progress the next generation of Ultimate strategy. We've helped top teams win world championships and new teams introduce the sport in a fun and inclusive way. Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn more about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
Wait. Isn't this for the other apparel? We've got like new stuff, right? Bring it in. Feast your eyes on the new fan version of our iconic ULTI.TV sweatshirts. Great fan gear available for you. Check out our new range of colors and insist on staying warm and looking fresh. Shipping is available after EUCF. Get your fan gear and be one of us.
And a look at the match stats. 8-5 the score, 3 breaks to 1, 6 break chances to 4. Still tight enough here. The slight edge in all of those stats to DISConnection, but a game that is not out of reach. But there is a call. So a call on the field here. Working out that goes back to Ulysse. Of course, with some World Club Championships experience playing for the wonderful Is No Good. And Riyad waiting for Kirklow to tap it in. And that has now happened. Wide around to Régie Bonetat, one of our wonderful patrons. And much more than just the base patron even. He is a patron who wants to give just a little bit more, and he opted to do that. We love him for it. Enzo Forget goes inside, backhand break to Riyad. Up line to Petitbon, and what's the call there? Ooh, is it going to be a travel?
I think it's a travel again. It seems to be a recurring theme. Not happy with how Riyad is receiving the disc. I think multiple times now, DISConnection have said that on receipt of the disc, as he slows down and stops and sets his pivot, he is making a curved motion, so taking a curved line to it.
Let's have another look. I'm not sure I agree with that call.
Yeah, that one was actually retracted. This one has been retracted on field. Perhaps having called it against him previously, they're a little bit sensitive on that one, but decided in this instance that was fine and it looked good to us.
Le Preux gets from Petitbon. And now Chloé Olivier, another pick called. We're getting a little bit call heavy in this point.
The last couple points, I think, but often a symptom of when you're playing very tight defense and there's quite a lot going on offense. Maybe just needing to calm it down, set those structures a little bit more.
Olivier to Le Preux. Tried to go over the shoulder, didn't like it. Now back to Petit Bon. Bump on the mark by Erdmann. Petit Bon, Le Preux, Petit Bon again. Olivier. Into Forget, into the corner, but way too high. Second effort gets knocked away, and they're denied because of a little bit of overexcitement trying to get in to that end zone.
We've seen it both ends of the field. Manchots just not setting themselves. They're working it so nicely, and then they'll just have a moment of overexcitement, a moment of I've got to get this out right now, and the throw just isn't there to back it up.
Erdmann chasing a Mueller huck that is on the money. Erdmann leads it, and wow, they're getting away with everything. Great set of leading throws, one after the other. The goal goes into the hands of Felix Vissa, but what a turn of events there for DISConnection going the other way.
Yeah, Felix Vissa absolutely turning on the Jets. The closing speed there was sensational, and under a lot of pressure from the defense. Two black shirts peeling off to try and stop what they saw as an inevitability. But actually, on his player form, Vissa did say that we needed to look out for running speed and crazy catches. So he knows what he brings to the table, and he's not afraid to use it.
Showing it all at once. I guess the catch wasn't too crazy.
Yeah, we're not going to give him any kind of crazy points for the catch, but the running speed certainly turning on the Jets, getting down there.
All right, we believe you.
We'll hold judgment on the crazy catch. We need to see something else from that.
Yeah. But the speed looks justified.
Yeah, and also when someone, I mean, sometimes people put it out deep and perhaps it's just an overthrow, but that one went out, and I think that was a faith. They saw who the cutter was and they knew, put it out into that end zone and he will get there.
I get the guy who's going to win this race. Lands and rolls out. Can't even be kicked aside, but the sideline keeps it from over-rolling. And Bonita will bring it back into play. Jacked right away. Van de Woude has space, but can't get the read. Two defenders converging upon him, and enough to distract him. He knows he should have had it. Claps his hands and a little bit of frustration there.
He was so well positioned, but I do think he was just put off. Perhaps he was aware of the player behind him as well as being able to see the one in front. That looked like that should have been a catch.
Very
disappointed.
Well sandwiched, but now intercepted going the other way. Bonita again, low to Olivier, and now Van de Woude makes sure he keeps his foot and throws away from the traffic wisely there. Ruyard with the disc, bounces off the mark of Stefan. And then goes centrally. Has Dolo and Ruyard to Le Preux. Straight back to Ulysse Ruyard. Ruyard gets it to Olivier, the World Games member. Now wide and around Le Preux. World Games shortlisted, now that I recall. Inside shot, Ruyard gets hit in the chest. Now Dolo, and the German goal line defense, red zone defense is very good and has been excellent. Tries to go over everything and gets over nothing. That one too short, and now back in the hands of DISConnection.
Manchot offense just looking a bit too dispersed there. In the end zone, you've got such a small space to work with. You really need to make sure you're not doing the defense any favors by setting up in a kind of scattered or dispersed situation, because it just enables them to hold so much more space and block so many more of your options. Manchot really kind of good defense from DISConnection, but enabled, I think, by the setup from Manchot.
And deep shot, low. Unable to get there was Volleson. So another chance for Manchot. It is 9-5. What a way to make a living. The scoreline there, but Manchot have had enough opportunities just in this point to hold that they really need to make this their third opportunity, make it count. And that great defense by Marika Ferster. A bit of a hope and a prayer going over top. Olivier safely gets that and was a little bit concerned about the converging D from Philip Steffen, and I think she's discussing maybe there was dangerous play being presented. Is that perhaps what that discussion could be about?
Potentially. Yeah, unhappy with that play. I think maybe just saying that he needs to make sure that he's not initiating contact or that he's being careful on those. It looked like an amazing grab under pressure, but it looked like it was executed relatively safely, but
she wanted it to be even safer.
Yeah, always really hard when perhaps someone comes out of your blind spot.
Ruyard to Van der Woude. Back to Ulysse Ruyard. Ruyard goes back to Le Preux. And some major contact there between Steffen and Bonnetat. They're both on the ground and yeah, trying to work out exactly what happened to put them there.
Again, this feels like a symptom of a lot of movement downfield for Manchots. You had someone in front of the disc cutting to come back into that handler space. You had someone trying to go up the line. A lot of movement in not that big a space. They really just didn't see each other move directly into each other. I'm not sure it's sort of mutual destruction, I think, in this instance. But a bit of frustration, I think, from the DISConnection side. They're having to call quite a few picks. They're having to call some of these contacts and potential sort of fouls, and it does feel like it's a symptom of a lot of movement and kind of not enough intention from the Manchot offense.
Violation. That one in a little bit early. Defense wasn't ready. And these long, chippy call points with the fair few calls, they continue. Le Preux throws it again. Ruyard not in yet. Hammer! Van der Woude! And he can't catch it because of the swinging arm of Arne Gross. And everything going the way of DISConnection for the time being. Van der Woude having a bit of a wobbler out there at the moment.
Yeah, as you mentioned, these kind of points that become a bit chippy, a bit cally, you've really got to make sure you keep your concentration. It's so easy to let the frustration sink in and kind of impact the decisions you're making.
Gross with the disc in his end zone. Stretches the field. Ferster on the chase. Le Preux turns around, and Le Preux does a great job defensively to take that one away. Bonnetat gets Van der Woude. Now the underneath there goes to Courtoisie. Ruyard. And a travel called. He doesn't like it. And Gross tries to plead his case. Olivier throws to Ruyard, who's been grinding out there. Leading throw, Olivier, and they just keep missing on these throws for goal. A long, long point here. And maybe should have had that. Felt the defense coming, a little bit of wind. A couple excuses you could choose from, but probably should have had it.
Yeah, that might just be, they're deep into this point now. Frustration creeping in, lack of focus maybe, desperation to finish the point often means that the exact opposite happens, and that's another turn. DISConnection now facing into the wind, trying to work it back.
And DISConnection. Stefan with the disc. Volleson. Ooh, and gets it back to Stefan, even though it was trailing away a little bit. Gross. Winds up, puts it. Olivier steps in front, and this point continues to change hands. Van de Woude. Another Isno product that I know well, who's now had making a living playing with French teams, doing it here with Manchots after a season and a half with Isno in the Open division.
I mean, that's great if you can make it work. Inspiration to a lot of players who would love to be professional, but unfortunately for most people it's not an option. So great to hear someone's making it work out for them.
Yeah, indeed. Bonnetat gets the under Courtoisie. Olivier. And Dolo, and there's a pick called. Where?
It was a snaking cut out of the stack, I think. Sort of went to go forward and then hit an angle and just managed to get caught up.
So it's still in the hands of Olivier, or back in the hands of Olivier, returned from Dolo. Gwendal, Dolo, the two brothers on the team. And a big switch there. Rouillard charges through. The defense was in front. High stall count, and he gets away with some slop there. Van de Woude throws the hammer, too much on it. Almost certainly, but no, I'm wrong. Bonnetat finds a way to it and catches a strange angled helix hammer that came from the hand of Van de Woude.
Yeah, that was just somehow perfection in the sense that the way that it kind of twisted and came down on the other side of the defensive player still gave a line for that one to be caught. It looked like it was going to be too big. It looked like it wasn't going to connect. The cutter was heading to the other side of the end zone, but just through the way that kind of helix spiraled, that just sat down past the defender and somehow into a single-handed grab. We see Olivier making that D, a big arcing throw on a high stall immediately into this, what seemed like an incredibly ill-advised shot, but just that, the way that arced round really worked. And somehow Manchots make that score and get on the scoreboard again, keeping their head above water, staying within comeback distance, although the time is ticking on and the points that remain are fewer. This is a game to 15 and the scoreline is 9-6.
9-6, there's still some life. Let's see if DISConnection are going to bring back the efficiency we saw with them last outing. Deep shot, faster and too far in front, so not perfect efficiency out the gates.
Yeah, asking a lot on that cut. It was a nice cut, but that would have had to have been a huge play to get there. So hard when you've run all that way and you have that sort of mindset of maybe you're just gonna make it, but I mean to make that one would have had to, I think, been quite a big layout, covering some ground, and not to be on this occasion.
Not that time. Let's see what Manchots can do. A second break would make things interesting, wouldn't it? Gavillet. Now dump back and low, super low by Guillon. And now Young will have a chance to go the other way and does it. Turk with the goal, Young with the assist, and 10 on the board now for DISConnection. A dirty hold the same, but compared to the last dirty hold by Manchots, that was a lot cleaner or less dirty. They gave away one opportunity, and on the second one, they struck quickly and cashed in the goal.
Yeah, seeing some frustration from Manchots on the sideline. Frustrated that they're giving these turns back, you know. Just seems like it's within their control to reduce their turnovers by a significant margin. There's been some great defense from DISConnection, but a lot of the turnovers are just kind of execution errors from Manchots, and it feels like they know that. They kind of, the body language of the players as they walk to the line for that point, it just seems a bit beaten down. We said they've stayed within striking distance. 10-6 is starting to kind of creep away from you. Anything is possible, but if they want to turn this around, they're going to need to up their energy levels by significant margins. They look flat, they look beaten, and you can't look beaten if you want to come back into this game.
Yeah, that is the truth indeed. Bonnetat goes to Forget, and Forget zips it to Bonnetat straight away. Great play. That is not a bad way to do it, but a pick indicated. And it's going to go back. So they got what would be a spark, a nice, efficient three-throw offense with one of them doing the bulk of that damage. And that comes back. That hurts a bit. Oh, it was late, that pick call by Mueller. That was, and a choice to go around.
Yeah, it feels like he's sort of taken the inside line to try and stop an up the line cut. And I would say probably was further than 3 meters away when that pick occurred. So, yeah. I mean, I know it's sort of you need to be within a reasonable distance, but I think he deliberately chose a more sort of inside line to take to try and block a different option. And I would say, just, you know, with the oversight of the replay, that actually that doesn't feel like that should have been a pick. Yeah, from my perspective. I
think I agree with you. The separation was already just so clear, and by the time his defensive coverage was distracted, it was, well, too late. But we're still playing on, regardless of our opinions. Bonnetat continues and gets one to Courtoisie, and now Forget. Forget inside to Bonnetat. Now Olivier. Olivier goes low, Courtoisie. Bonnetat turns it back. High throw there, Dolo. Petitbon. Petitbon. Throws far side of the field, Forget around. And there, Olivier Bonnetat does get the goal in the end. So justice served, if you agreed with our call.
Yeah, and it's nice to see them score in that way. Obviously, the long put coming off would have been nice as well, but to really kind of find that flow, work it through, attack the space well, that's again what we've sort of said throughout this game, is when it's worked for them in that early couple of points, that's what it looked like. And if they want to stay in this game and kind of keep competitive and try and claw back some ground, that's going to be the way to do it. We see a replay of that pick call again, and I don't know about anyone else watching, but that sort of solidifies it from my perspective. But of course, we have the privilege of watching this through the camera. We have the higher up perspective, and for the players on the field, they can just call it as they see it. So it went back as a pick, but glad to see that Manchots were able to work that in and be rewarded with a score.
So the next pull goes DISConnection. Kick things off with Förster. And the deep shot from Turk. Shields on the chase. I don't think she's going to be able to get there. A break opportunity for Les Manchots, the Penguins of Le Mans. So, looking around the other three quarters, deep space up, a single on Nulacht. GRUT up 11-7 on Smog, and that last one, Reading just about to dispose of Tartu. They're up 14-9. Manchots with the disc. Can they pull off a would-be unthinkable comeback? The unthinkable, sometimes believable in this sport. Pro goes low to Lefebvre. Lefebvre to Barenton, wind up. She sent it. That is a cracking throw. Wow, and she is fired up, deservedly so. What a backhand.
That was an absolute dime, and that is, I mean, it's not directly into the wind, but as good as. That is really challenging. The wind kind of definitely coming from that end zone, but maybe slightly from the other side. But even so, keeping it right down the line, keeping it inbounds, getting that level of touch, that level of sit, and just having that really nicely glide down into the path of your receiver is just phenomenal work, making it look easy. Look at that, arcing through. And then the sort of level of touch and focus that just comfortably drifted down right into the path. That was a phenomenal throw, and great to kind of exploit that separation so effectively.
What they need now to follow that up with is, now that they've got the wind at their back, a nice pull. Put Freiburg in some trouble in their own end zone with their wind at their back, chase a big arcing pull. That would be the perfect complement to that nice deep upwind break they just put on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. And 8-10 is a very different scoreline to 10-6. This is feels like this could be a change in the game. That pull goes down, it's low, it's quick, and it's going to be moving before the defense can get set.
Förster with the disc. Now Turk. Miriam Förster comes near sideline now, swings across Jung, and she gets it again. Does Förster. Förster inside and high. Well taken by Nover. Turk to Nover, back to Turk. A little bit of room to reset in the dump space. The cup could stand to tighten up or crash just a little bit because they're getting a lot of free meters here. Now big meters. Gross goes to Turk, and they hold on to the zone, and that ends up being a little bit of a mistake that late into the point.
Yeah, DISConnection completely unflustered, unfazed by the zone defense there. Always finding those gaps in the middle, and again, just the execution of those kind of inside passes, so nice. A little bit of shape on them to make sure they kind of get round the kind of the inside player in the cup, but otherwise just quick release, unflustered, put out into space. Someone's always there, and just moving that up really, really decisively, slicing through it. That was a really great offensive point for DISConnection.
Yep, they came back after the break against and made Swiss cheese of that zone. They are 11-8, a 3-point lead. Manchots are playing good enough to have some belief. They got a hold, yes, most certainly. First things first, but there is belief that they can break now. That they broke on the first point of the game and then 2 points ago. So they broke twice, but really it's that last one that might breed a little bit of confidence because they had all but forgotten the first one.
Yeah, they've proven they can break, and I do think that, yeah, you're right, they have that belief it's possible, but they need to do something. You know, that's not going to come to them. They had to fight for that last break.
That zone is not the way for that fight, I don't think, after the last point. I'd like to see them come back out with something different, and maybe particularly a match D formation, as Forger gets the stall out called on him. His body language suggests that he's going to contest. contested indeed based on the hand signals we've seen. And Visa trying to plead his case. I think if it's contested, you can't really keep pleading the case. I mean, there's one thing whether it's did it leave before the first utterance of T on 10, and the second, wow, there's a turnover on the very next throw. Volleson to Visser, and it's back again into the Manchot hand. The other thing is sometimes the belief that the stall count was a fast count, or you didn't like the way it was going, and you just, sometimes it's unconvincible to have the perspective of the opponent change to yours. This one hanging, it will stay in bounds. Olivier, what a catch, left hand. Chloé Olivier getting it done, and boy, did they need that one. 9-11, that's the emergency call. And it is tightening up here, a hold by Manchot. They'll have another downwind pull now, Rachel.
Yeah. Chloé Olivier has had a near flawless game. She's been such an important cog in the offense, always kind of finding the reset, making great reset cuts. We see here her setting up that deep cut. She had so much separation. Another defender peels off the back of the stack, trying to help out, puts in a good effort to get there, but that's just expertly read. Goes up and makes sure that she's the one getting the first touch on the disc, despite really sort of having the slightly less advantageous position, I think,
yes,
in the end.
She won the foot race, but then position was taken away there.
Yeah,
and
not bothered though,
no.
not bothered, Chloé Olivier.
She is an absolute star, and she continues to shine. So, Young finds Shields, quickly dished into power position, Turk, and he uses it, but he throws it right in to Barentin. And Guillon, this could be huge if they could put one on the board right now. Chestier, high stall count finds Lefebvre. Lacoste Lefebvre, now Van de Woude comes under. He goes for goal, Berthoudou, the bigger receiver. Beautiful shot by Van de Woude. It's a 1-point game, 10-11. Manchot keeping it real.
Yeah, great point from the Tool girls on Manchot. That was beautiful. We see such a great interception and then followed up by a beautiful deep cut. There was obviously a slight height mismatch in terms of the players going deep, and Berthoudou very happy to exploit that. Really well. You see her go to come under, makes that hard change of direction. She's got some yards, and that is really well sat out in front. Perrine Berthoudou, 188 centimeters tall. She is definitely got the stature to be an end zone receiver, but also got the smarts. She set that cut up. That wasn't just a foot race. That was definitely a kind of a very decisive move. She made that hard cut under for one step, turned, and was rewarded. Keeping her team in this game. I mean, they've clawed their way back. They absolutely have. We sort of maybe were making slightly too negative a sounds and slightly just a few points to go, and it was 10-6. But Manchot really showing how to get yourself together and get yourselves back into a competitive position.
A 4-1 run since then. Turk, no options, has to send it deep. And another chance for Manchot. They're feeling something. Can you see this sideline energy changing? Because I sure can.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of noise coming from Manchot. We commented on how quiet and how sort of beaten down they looked earlier in the game, but they've managed to sort their heads out. They've managed to get themselves in a position of just, you know, creating the hype. There's definitely a lot of energy coming from the sideline, and there's a lot of determination coming from the field.
Manchot Courtoisie takes a high one, and it's little plays like that that make big differences. That one could well and truly have been a turnover, but now 3 throws later, Manchot continue to churn. Rouillard thinks about the big one. Crot goes up line, and he gets the target. Now a great throw through and another dish into the guts of Rouillard. Could this be? There it is! It's all tied up, 11 apiece. Another break, but not quite yet.
I think they're saying that that one wasn't jumped in, but was caught and then jumped. That's, I think, what the call is.
So feet down on the catch before the jump up. Let's have another look here. The target's still not in the screen yet. Now here's the target. Crut running up line. Ooh, I think there's a little bit of a case on that. It's not a perfect angle there, but it may well have been foot down before. And we're gonna play on anyways. Shot for goal, high! What a grab there by Courtoisie. That should have gone beyond, that should have been, or let's say well could have been a turnover if not for a heroic catch by Courtoisie. What reflexes.
Yeah, Courtoisie putting in effort to make sure that they don't lose this opportunity to tie the game at 11s. We would not have really anticipated this being the case. We said it was possible, but it just didn't feel like Manchot were in the right headspace and kind of got their flow together for that to be a possibility at this point. But here we are, 11-11, really worked their way back into it. Phenomenal work, and as we said, I think so much of that can be attributed to the focus and the energy that we've seen, and that's been a total change from earlier in the game from Manchot. DISConnection still putting in a good shift, but I don't know what they can do at this stage when the momentum is sort of so much with the other team. They're going to have to make sure they are tightening up, because it feels like the momentum is thoroughly with Manchot at this stage.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Back in play. If you've been watching this whole game, you may not believe that it's already come to this. That is 4 1s on the scoreboard, 11 apiece right now. What once was a 6-10 game, it's been a big run, 5-1 now, a 5-1 run for Manchot to put themselves back at level peggins. And what a pull, lands right at the back of the end zone. DISConnection after a 5-1 run against, have to play with 0 meters behind them. What will they generate from this position? Mareke Fester still at the back of her end zone, throws now, gets up and moving. Shields collects that one from Gross, and now a big gainer, but dropped! This could be a chance to take the lead, winded their back. Manchot insisting to calm themselves down as Van de Woude picks up the freshly turned over disc. Rouillard comes under. 2 hands on it. Rouillard to Lacoste. Lacoste floats one up. Rouillard slashes the 2 hands onto it again. Now Van de Woude quickly out in front. Rouillard A travel called. I think this time he agreed. Rouillard goes back to center. Lacoste. What will avail? She goes backwards again. Rouillard has been a workhorse in the last 2 or 3 points. This one, once again, pick called. Rouillard goes around Van de Woude. And another call. Van de Woude indicates that there was a call. Not sure exactly what it was. Back in play. Can Manchots take the lead? It is available to them. They are 5 meters away from what could be a lead. Led to Rouillard. Still nothing in the corner for him to look at. Has to go back to center field unless Bertaudeau! Manchots have stormed back. That is a 6-1 run. They are ahead right now for the first time since it was 2-1. Their first lead since then, make it 12-11, Rachel.
Yeah, that is a comeback for the books. And we've said throughout this game that it felt like they were in it. They just needed to do this, or they just needed to do that. And it turns out that they figured those things out on the fly. This second half has really been such a revolution for them. They've made the adjustments they need to make, and it feels like they've maybe just sort of unseated that comfort that DISConnection had. We were seeing them to be much more flowing, and the intensity on D and just the focus from Manchots has really put DISConnection more on the back foot and forced some errors, forced some miscommunications, and here we are. We've got a game.
What a game. I can't I was baffled that it was a tie game. Now Manchots have just not stopped pouring it on. They've taken the lead. And I mean, will this run ever end? Is DISConnection going to stem the flow? Because this was a game that the field was tilted all in favor of DISConnection for so much of this game that it is still tough to wrap our heads around the fact that Manchots is in command on the scoreboard right now. So the pull, not exceptional.
Yeah, it's a short pull, only about midfield. DISConnection choosing to take it from that sideline, take the yards.
I'd say sensible, but I like this too by Rouillard, tight on the dump mark right now. Make him have to throw something a little riskier upfield. Not the end, and that was still risky. They had to work for that. Turk throws, it's low, but it's picked up now in the corner and knocked away by Courtoisie. Manchots stay hot.
Every single one of those passes was under so much pressure. Manchots giving nothing and eventually getting that defense.
Berenton from her own corner. Forget bombs up line, great cut. Get them out of that tight corner position. Forget throws to Gavillier. And Gavillier gets Petit Bon. Now into the hands of Chistier. He waits for something to come, but nothing open. That maybe not the worst option. That Berenton is there, and what a catch, a bailout there. I don't know if that was the best option, but there was nothing else downfield, and now Berenton makes a huge play with some impact on it. It looks like she's holding her ankle. We will hope for the best on this. The catch will stand.
Yeah, phenomenal work to come down with that under a lot of pressure, but it did seem there was maybe a little bit of contact at her back. She boxed out so well, but a little bit of contact just meant that she sort of went to ground, and that maybe her foot, her ankle got caught on the way down. Injury, of course, being called, as would be expected, but she gets a hero's walk off, and she is walking off, so hopefully that's nothing too serious. But huge play to retain possession.
Massive play, retain possession. That was a absolute hero maker. Chloé Olivier comes in, not a bad substitution to have either. Tough for Berentin to come out. She's been having such a great game, particularly in these late portions. But okay, she's out. We'll hope she's back. But to get Chloé Olivier to come in, not a horrible replacement by any stretch of the imagination.
It seems like DISConnection might have also made a sub, which would indicate that perhaps it wasn't actually contact, since you would only be able to make that sub if it was an injury called on the basis of what's the right way of saying this? Nothing to do with the other team.
Right.
Otherwise, DISConnection wouldn't be able to put a sub in now.
Is that so? I didn't.
Yeah, I believe that's the rule. If there's an injury that's a result of kind of an interaction between the two teams, then the person who's been injured can go off. If it's an injury that hasn't been as a result of either kind of contact with another player from the opposing team, then that's when the other team can also take an injury sub if they need.
Wow, I love learning.
I mean, I hope I'm right, since I just really went in deep on that one.
Let us know in the chat.
Yeah,
is Rachel right?
Well, yeah. We hope and we
and
pray.
Be nice about it if she's not. But I'm certainly not trying to oppose that. But I am not positive myself. It is a foul before the play that has been accepted. So, and a stoppage.
We're just getting some clarification from the sideline about how to unravel the number of calls we've just had in quick succession.
Yeah, uncontested foul that some people stopped playing. So really all of that succession doesn't count. Berentin made the hero maker and went down for nothing. Rachel is correct, says Dimitri, who is a qualified observer himself. Not observer, a advisor.
Yes, validation at the highest level. Thank you, Dimitri.
Go.
I appreciate you.
Low to the ground, Gavillet. And the around throw gets to Forger. Chistier, and that one's knocked away by Erdmann. Picked up quickly, Young fires it, hanging. Erdmann's under it, but it bounces off the fingertips, and they cannot level it up.
That was again like trying to strike back hard, and all the component parts seem to be there. Great block, but that just bounced out of her hands. I think there was enough defensive pressure to just put her off of that play. It was in her hands, and again just bobbled and comes right through.
Forger with the disc. Wind up, he sends it. It's Rouillard under it, who read it well for a second, missed it, and then reread it. He gets it through the gut, shot for goal. Courtoisie is there. It is a game to 14, sorry, and it's 13-11. I cannot believe the reversal of fortunes. Can DISConnection now pull off the unthinkable for them? This is just mind-boggling, Rachel.
Yeah, this is exactly the kind of game that we want to see when we come to these tournaments, and from these unbelievable teams from across Europe. It's exactly why we're here, what we want to be streaming. Such a great comeback story, and this is the kind of thing that proves, we often have these games where we watch teams pull away, and the narrative is, well, what can they do? Can you come back from that? And the answer is almost always, yes, you can, but you need to make the changes. You need to ensure that you have the right headset and figure out what it is that you need to do to make the difference. And we've seen that from Manchots. We've seen DISConnection still, they're still getting turns, they're still making plays, but it just doesn't seem to be coming together for them. While Manchots have tightened up, figured out what they need to do, and taken the lead by 2.
Taking the lead by 2. It's a game to 14 now. DISConnection will need to hold and break twice. Manchots, any goal will do it. a break on this first try or 2 chances to hold. Certainly advantage now in the hands of Le Mans.
Oh no, we've been both me and Dimitri have been corrected in the chat. So it turns out.
Hang on a sec. We'll get back to the chat in a second, but Shields gets the under. Miriam Feste looking towards the end zone, gets the up line cut from Young. Young continue to Marco Mula. Mula shoots for the corner, gets the goal. Gross puts the big hand down. That will bring it back to within 1, 12-13. Manchots will get their first chance to hold one in for victory.
Yeah, that was an offense from a team that want to stay in this game. That was fast, that was decisive, and that was very well executed. DISConnection making fast work of their hold, but now are really going to have to put in a shift, get a block, and make sure this time they convert it. We want to see a sudden death game. That's always what like the most exciting culmination of a back and forth game like this.
Let it end on Universe.
Yeah, so to kind of finalize the discussion around injury subs, if your opponent calls an injury, you are always allowed to sub, regardless of whether it's been made with contact. But the clarification in the chat was that if you call an injury that hasn't been due to contact, you have to sub or forfeit a timeout. So we live and we learn. Everyone brush up on their rules. I was very confident on that one, and I was incorrect. So no one is safe.
I had always believed that if there is a substitution, the reciprocation substitution is always available. And I guess that stands. And thank you to you in the chat for helping us out. Thank you for your anticipated likes you're about to give this game. Let's watch that number skyrocket. Go ahead, do it. Give the likes. Yeah, come on. Yeah, oh my God, we're still at 10 after all that encouragement. 11, look at that. Look at it go. And then go ahead and subscribe and do the other stuff too. Oh, look at it go. No, it's not moving that quick. It can move much quicker, wonderful viewers. Here comes Manchots Bonitat. Chance to win the game. Under comes under. That's Dolo. It's Gwendal Dolo. Wind has picked up, and they have just put the air under it. Tipped away by Vissa. And now the wind at the back of DISConnection. Gross picks up and gets going. Now Feste. Mareka Feste. Throws backwards to Turk. Turk winds up. Strong hands by Joanna Erdmann. Short and into the guts of Gross. Gross wide and around. Turk catches in the middle. Turk goes to Erdmann, far sideline. Erdmann winds up, now looks back to middle. Turk again. Turk finds Arne Gross. Gross gets big meters. First for goal. It's all tied up, 13 apiece. Game to 14. Universe is upon us. What a game, what a game, what a game after that big string. We finally got 2 in a row, a hold and a break back from Freiburg, from DISConnection. Some life still left in them to make sure they extend this game and keep pushing forward. So, Universe point, wow. Advantage, Manchots, I guess. Now they do have O and the wind. But I don't know if you can really give any advantage in this game, the way it's gone, or a game of runs, back and forthing. Looking forward to see who will be out there for these Universe point lines, that is for sure.
Yeah, it's not been the cleanest game. There have been a number of clean holds, and we have had, single turn breaks. But it's been scrappy. We've seen, particularly now we're at this, the ultimate crunch time, right? These are knockout games, sudden death decider. Every single person on that field is going to be putting in 120% effort. They want to be the ones that move forward. Both of whom have kind of, you know, they both earned the right, but one of them will go away disappointed. So I think a timeout has been called as they rally ahead of this final point.
We'll take a quick break too and be right back for Universe Point action.
Have you seen our VO streams? Do you know that VO cameras are built for more tactical team sport analysis? The inbuilt tracking technology allows you to see the game in finer detail. That's why teams are already using it, and ULTI.TV and EUF are teaming up to help you join VO. Contact EUF administration to get more details.
Universe Point quarterfinals. Who will move on? The favorites, DISConnection, undefeated through the tournament, carrying a big high seed, or the upstart Manchots, who went 2-2 over the course of the weekend, but are finding fire right now, Rachel. That pole hangs up, and Enzo Forget will pick it up just behind the brick mark. Forget goes deep right away. Rouillard on the chase, but gets turned inside out. A chance now for DISConnection to win it on a break after a one-throw offense goes astray.
That was a difficult one. That was coming down on the outside shoulder of Rouillard. The whole field to travel, but DISConnection with a chance for the win.
They're moving upwind now. Förster trying to engage the dump, but has to chuck deep. Not sure that was the option. Rouillard, and a bit of a bump there by Vissa after the interception by Rouillard. He gets Olivier. Olivier has won a few games with a game-winning catch, including the European Ultimate Championship with Team France Mixed, but hands are waving in the air like they just don't care. A violation somewhere out there.
I think a foul might have been called in the stack. Yeah, foul uncontested, hand signals on the defensive player, so this will come in on 0.
Back into play, Lefebvre, Lacoste, Lefebvre.
Another stoppage on field, not entirely clear what the call is. Pick called.
Now it's clear.
Now
Thank
it's
you for
clear.
those hand signals.
Yeah.
Swan Lacoste, gold medalist in Padova. Can she be part of a semi-finalist team here in Wrocław? She goes deep, over the top, it's Van de Woude! Where on earth did he come from? Manchots have knocked off DISConnection. DISConnection in a bit of disarray right now. That one seemed like it was in the bank at 10-6, but Manchots just would not go away and have done the unthinkable and are booked with a spot into a semi-final in the mixed division.
Unbelievable scenes. Ultimate comeback story. That's one of the reasons that the format of this sport is so sensational. It gives a chance for teams to make those sorts of plays, get such tight games, come back despite the deficit, despite the time limit, and here we see a huge comeback story from Manchots. DISConnection undoubtedly very, very sad about that one. That was definitely a high stall throw. They were doing some great shutdown defense. Didn't allow any options, but sometimes you just got to lob it and hope for the best, and the reception was there. That one for the win. Unbelievable.
Swan Lacoste finds Johan van der Woude. Then Devouta had a few bobbles early in the game, but came good. A couple big plays late and none bigger than that run on to. Lacoste put up a little bit of a prayer there. I don't see many options. I got something at the back of the end zone. Let's have a chance. And here, a look at those match stats, which I imagine are going to be pretty close. They are, aren't they?
Yeah, 20 turns for Manchot, 21 for DISConnection, only 4 and 5 clean holds. So we see this was a scrappy game, and really in the end, when it washed out, just the smallest margins in it.
And also, you can probably hear them in the background. They are getting very noisy, very deservedly so. Knocked off in the French Championship, didn't get the win, 2-2 over the course of the week, but have just got better and taken what is the hugest of scalps right now. We have to get out of here because we have more action to bring to you. So we hope that you stay tuned. Next up on this field, not a small match either, Clapham taking on Wall City. It's all happening here. Don't you go anywhere. For Rachel Douglas, I've been Stefan Rapazzo. Thanks for being with us, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.